after working on multi-million-dollar projects in management consulting at Google, working with Fortune 100 companies, Ivy League professors, startups, the pattern is now clear. To get exceptional results, you have to show up to the same sorts of problems with a different skill set. And these skills all require you to think long-term and act short-term. So let's go through 3 of these skills that you need to master. There are 2 types of games in life, the ones that have one right answer and the ones that have no right answer. Most things we learn in school have a right answer. We've got math problems that have one correct answer. We've got multiple choices that have one right answer. But when we transition into the real life, there are no right answers. There are multiple right answers. Like if your boss tells you, hey, give me a progress update, what do you put in it? How much to include? How much to exclude? And your boss might not even know what the right answer is, right? They might have a vague idea of what they want, but until they see something on paper, they might not know what is the right answer, what is the wrong answer. So what do? You focus on being better, not the best. This is why perfectionists don't tend to thrive at work, because they're playing by the rules of the one right answer game. So they're looking for that one right answer. But in reality, the answer is always, it's a moving target. The whole world is changing every single day. So we never know what will happen to our answer. Maybe it's correct today, but it'll be wrong tomorrow. No one at work is going to say, yes, I vouch for Vicky's answer 1,000%. It will definitely work out. No one wants to take that kind of risk. So instead of getting points for getting the right answer, you want to get points for showing your work, showing the process of how you got to the answer. Because even though no one can say with 100% certainty that the answer is correct, they can look at your process and say, okay, this is a really rigorous process. I can see that it makes logical sense. So we're very likely to get to a right answer. This is how VC firms decide on what to invest, right? They invest in a good team, they invest in competitive advantage, they invest in the process of getting to a good result. And you hear them say this all the time. I don't really care what the idea is. I believe in the founders and how they will work towards their idea. This leads to skill number 2, defining success on your own terms. Keeping with the game analogy, we know we're playing the no right answer game. Within that, there are a set of rules, and we know the general goal that we're heading towards. And now we have to decide, well, what is the right answer for me? Because we need some direction to focus our energy. And I saw this firsthand at Google. At the surface, me and everyone else in my team were working on the same team. We're solving the same problem, doing the same stuff. But if you look at where people spend their time and their efforts, it was completely different. We were playing completely different games. People who were there who wanted to build industry connections. They are planning events, going to events. They're never at the office, always out there doing stuff. And then there are some people who are about building connections inside Google so that they could have more opportunities to move to different teams and meet interesting people. Then they are in the office all the time, going to coffee chats, going to lunches. And then there are still others who are focused on promotions. So they're just choosing strategic projects, working with key decision makers, making sure they're seen, they're always sending emails, doing updates in public meetings. And then you have other people who are focused on their side projects. They just want to do the bare minimum, get their bosses off their back, and say no to everything that takes up too much time. And the one thing that unifies all of these people is they're not passive people waiting for miracles to happen. They're not saying, oh, well, fingers crossed, I hope I don't get laid off. They know exactly what they're doing. If I get laid off, this is what I'm going to do. If I don't get laid off, then I want to make sure I talk to who and who and who. They know exactly, because all of them have an exit strategy in place. They see themselves as investments, right? They are investing in themselves so that they know when it's time to exit. And if situations change, they know how to adapt their exit strategy to their advantage. And the paradoxical thing is usually they don't need to exit because they're getting the full experience, they're getting the full benefits out of their environment. And they themselves make it that way. And this leads me to the 3rd skill, which is learn to build momentum. Go from 0 to 1. I'm sure you felt this as well, where when you procrastinate, the task at hand, let's say I have to create a presentation, it sounds so big and you come up with all sorts of reasons why it's so complicated. But if you do the first step, if you go from 0 to 1, you open the laptop and you write out a general outline, all of a sudden the rest of the steps, the next 10 steps are so much easier and you get into flow a lot easier and you breeze through it. And the key skill there is going from 0 to 1. Most people are not good at it. And if you are good at building from 0 to 1, then you'll realize the law of physics help you. The first law of motion is things in motion tend to stay in motion. And you have gotten the superpower of helping yourself stay in motion and moving forward. And the best way to do that is to have a permissionless mindset. Let's come back to that Google example. There's always times when you have a project that's thankless, that doesn't have much impact, and you just need someone to do it for some stupid reason, and no one wants to do it. Everyone knows their time can be better spent somewhere else, but alas, you have to do something, so you go to that afternoon team meeting, you try not to make eye contact, and you hope you are not assigned. And if you are assigned, well, bad luck, whatever, I'll just do it. But if you're the person who's good at building momentum, you will do something completely different. And I've seen this with my colleague who realize that we are doing these boring projects because they're just legacy. They don't make any impact. And where the impact actually happens is this new, strategic area that no one wants to touch because it's kind of uncertain. You don't know if you're going to do the right thing. There's no playbook for it. So what they did was come up with a plan and hypothesize, okay, we haven't made any progress in this area, probably because of X, Y, Z. And I think within X, Y, Z, we should focus on X first. And here is a plan of how I would test the waters with this. They're not promising big results. They're not promising anything. They're just saying, hey, I'm going to build the momentum going from 0 to 1. And they bring it to the manager and they say, okay, I know we also have to do that project, but I think as a team, if we can figure out this strategic priority, we will get a lot more impact as a team. And of course, the manager loves the initiative, loves the idea, and say, yes, do that. Let's see what happens. And the result was, there wasn't much result, but it didn't matter. They got the praise from not only the manager, but the team. Wow, you're taking on this complicated project. It's so difficult. Thank you so much for doing the hard work. And this skill combined with the previous two is the one that's going to get you exceptional results when everyone is facing similar problems. And if you want to see specific strategy, I added them to this video here. So check it out and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.